the local church, the Westminster Society Journal, Volume 3. It is now available on Amazon for $16. Purchase your copy today. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? You see, when I was trying to get my podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Questions like, how do I record an episode? Or how do I get my show into all the apps that people use to listen to podcasts? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is completely 100% free and super easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that is exactly what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So if you always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to Anchor. Go to anchor.fm/start and join me in a diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I cannot wait to hear your podcast.
Hi, this is Christy Lundy with Bucket List Travels, specializing in faith-based trips. I work with a tour company that has over 40 years experience and over 40 itineraries to choose from. These trips are all-inclusive and offer payment plans, making it a reality for most of your congregation to participate in. Your church family will bond with each other in a deep and meaningful way by experiencing these locations together. Bring the Bible to life by visiting these locations in which the accounts took place. Walk in the footsteps of Jesus, Old Testament prophets, and New Testament disciples. After deciding the itinerary your church would love and benefit from the most, I will take over all planning, travel arrangements, information meetings, collecting documents, information, and payments, leaving you the time to be able to prepare for the trip as a spiritual leader of the group. You can create small Bible studies, devotionals, and focused prayer times. If this sounds like a valuable investment for your church, contact me by email at bucketlisttravelagent@gmail.com or message me on Facebook at Bucket List Travels by Christy Lundy to set up your phone call or meeting today. Have a blessed day.
You have reached the end of yet another episode from The Ear. We hope that God's Word remains on the ears of the listeners. We pray that this podcast would urge you to go forth and spread His good news to the world. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. See you at the next episode. God bless you, and may His glory shine upon you.
Greetings. This is Steve Salyards, the author of the GA Junkie, and here are some Presbyterian history notes for the week of July 14th. On Sunday, July 14th, we noted the 1811 birth of Richard Webster. He planned and trained for mission work in India, but at the last minute, he strongly sensed God calling him to something else. He became the pastor of the church in Mauchunk, Pennsylvania, and was a church planter in northeastern Pennsylvania. He was also a church historian and is known for many publications, especially his volume, A History of the Presbyterian Church in America, from its origin until the year 1760, which was published posthumously a year after his death. Monday, July 15th, another birth, that of Alexander McWhorter in 1734. He was a pastor in New Jersey and North Carolina, and an evangelist in the North Carolina area. He served as a trustee for the College of New Jersey, and was the chaplain to General Henry Knox's brigade in the Revolutionary War. He served the church at many levels, and served on the group that prepared the original Constitution for the PCUSA before the First General Assembly in 1789. Tuesday, July 16th. George Bowl born on this day in 1796 in Ireland. His family moved to America when he was young, and eventually settled in central Pennsylvania. Besides running the family farm, George was a noted county judge and a one-term state representative. He was also an active ruling elder at all levels of the PCUSA. On a side note, George Bowl's father, David, also an active Presbyterian elder, earned that land in central Pennsylvania through Revolutionary War service. Besides the farm, he had some commercial interests there, including the tavern. This was the founding of Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, and the family has a long and continuous history in that area. In 1855, George was involved in founding the nearby Farmers High School of Pennsylvania, the predecessor to the Pennsylvania State University. Wednesday, July 17th, marks the 75th anniversary of the death of Jane Haney in the Auschwitz-Birkenau camp. She was a Church of Scotland missionary at the historic Scottish Mission in Budapest. She remained at the mission during World War II, worked with Jewish refugees, the local community, and particularly with the Jewish girls at the home and school associated with the mission. She was arrested in late April and executed at the camp. Thursday, July 18th, is also a milestone anniversary. On this day 90 years ago, Westminster Theological Seminary was organized at a meeting in Philadelphia. Formed with a core of faculty that had left Princeton Theological Seminary following a reorganization, those at the meeting selected an executive committee who guided the school to begin instruction that following September. Friday, July 19th. In 1924, the Canadian Parliament passed an act preparing the civil groundwork for the formation of the United Church of Canada about 11 months later. The new denomination was formed by the union of the Methodist, Congregational, and Presbyterian churches. Only about 2/3 of the Presbyterians joined the merger, and that act also provided the process for those churches that declined to join and how to divide the denomination's educational properties. Saturday, July 20th, is the 50th anniversary of the first human landing on the moon, and one of those two men, Buzz Aldrin, was a ruling elder at Webster Presbyterian Church in the Houston area. Shortly after landing on the moon, he took Holy Communion, an act which was arranged with his pastor, session, and received the approval of the stated clerk of the General Assembly beforehand. It was also approved by NASA. He began the sacrament with these words over the radio. "Houston, this is Eagle. This is the LM pilot speaking. I would like to request a few moments of silence. I'd like to invite each person listening in, wherever and whomever he may be, to contemplate for a moment the events of the past few hours and to give thanks in his own individual way."